Hey Taurus, this is Dr. Tarot with Take Charge Tarot for your October 21st through 31st reading, taking you all the way to the end of the month. And so we're going to do I already have your cards laid out. We've got your career/work, love relationships, and life path. And so the first card I'm going to show you is sort of where you are now. And according to this, you are in the Nine of Cups. So that's, as you know, typically called the wish fulfillment card, and it's looking good. The feeling that I'm getting regarding your work, it's actually as though you're now really enjoying what you're doing. So, and by the way, when I say career, I mean whatever work you do that you feel is the work that you should be doing, or whatever, whether that's parenting or whether that's exploring relationships or a job that pays you money. I use that word very kind of broadly. So the work that you do, labor, if you will. Something must have come through for you, but there's a feeling of, I'm getting a very grounded feeling from this Nine of Cups, which is rather unusual, especially if you look at this card. She's jumping from a treasure chest and throwing these cups ecstatically into the air. But what I notice is the ground, and I notice the clouds, and I notice the elements that are containing the human and the exaltation. Direction you might want to go right now is look toward the future. So it looks like you've achieved something has come forward for you that felt really good. That was this. Now it looks like you should be thinking about, okay, what's next? What's the next vista, if you will, or to use problematic language, what is the next land to conquer, right? But I see this as a very confident human, a very prepared human. And by prepared, I mean they're ready. They've learned what they need to learn. They're in a position to make a move. They're not ready to exactly make that move, but they are ready to look at the possibilities and opportunities available to make that move. And the immediate action that you should take is, Chariot, there really isn't much more of a action-oriented card in the major arcana. Now, something to point out here, this is very clearly movement. Now, traditionally, Chariot is actually, if you look at the Rider-Waite, the Chariot itself is not moving. And the Sphinx that are sort of reigned are the animals responsible, not really animals, but responsible for moving the Chariot, also are not moving. So it's a concrete position. I say all of this because I think Chariot gets misunderstood as this run towards your goal and zip to it. And this deck definitely does that. But what this deck is also showing is that it's not about the charioteer. It's not about the person. This is called Chariot. So in essence, this is, and it's also the last card in the first line of the major arcana, which is I am. What does that mean to you? Why would I even bother to share that? Because this is that you have arrived. So all these cards are telling me you got what you wanted. Again, whether it's, I don't think it's money. I really am not getting like, I got a bonus. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that sort of that obvious of a wish fulfillment. It's more that you have, maybe it's like accepted your value. It's something that's been there all along, or at least for a while, that you've now realized within yourself. Like, you now realize, wow, the work I do is really important and impactful. Or, wow, I'm really good at this. It was hard and I used to not love it, but man, I'm good at it. And there's something that you have discovered, or some kind of, I keep feeling a discovery, so I'll just keep going with that. And it could be also in the form of, the discovery has sort of transferred into emotional fulfillment such that you're like, okay, I got this. Let me think about the future now. And this is really just wrapping it up. So this is the card of the immediate action one should take. It's recognizing that you are ready. It's just giving you the absolute high five affirmation that yes, you are now ready for the next thing. And whatever it is that you do as work, this isn't just paying the bills. This is whatever we're talking about here is something that you consider your work, capital W, like life work, or the thing that you were brought to the planet to offer in the way of labor. So this chariot is you. You're not the person. You are the chariot. And the chariot is I'm here. I am moving. I have to honor the image of this, though of course it's a still photo, even though it shows movement. But it shows movement in a very, for all we know, those horses could be levitated and not even on the ground. So again, this isn't about movement as much as it is about your arrival and your completion of solidifying your identity as one who does this work. I hope this makes sense. It must make sense to someone out there, because why would I be receiving these messages? So looking at relationship, this is where you are. Now, interesting that we've got a 9, 9, and an 8 up here about where you are. And so I look at that and I'm like, okay, interesting. Yes, 9 is typically the card of grief, but what I'm feeling is that it's more of a coming to terms with. So I don't see whatever it is that this card is signifying for you, Taurus. You've been here for a while. This isn't like, oh my God, we just broke up and it's awful. Or maybe you just broke up, but you have been grieving a relationship for a long time. This could be a child going away to college. This could be your best friend has passed unexpectedly. This could be the configuration of your neighborhood or where you live has kind of changed, and you were pretty close to the people who lived around you. This is grief writ large. I don't feel it as a particular relationship, like, I broke up with X and I'm so sad. Those feelings may be coming up. There may be a relationship that has kind of kicked off the grief. It's common for like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a for instance, but of course they all fly out of your brain because I'm not in brain mode, I'm in channel mode. But whatever this grief is, it's not acute and new as much as it has been present for some time. Which tells me that this is the direction. I love this Hierophant card. You rarely in the Hierophant do you see the person who's signifying the Hierophant, which is a learned person, in such sort of like ecstasy. They're in a particular yoga pose here that is opening the sacral chakra, which is where we get our information, our intuition is in this area. And then, this card is beautiful. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into the card itself, but rather in your reading, these two are right next to each other. So this is very important emotional experience or set of experiences that comprise this card leads to this. And it's the only way you could get to this, which is some kind of, the emotional aspect of this card is really coming through. Almost like an ecstasy, almost like a liberation. I'm telling you, this grief card, the more I look at it, this feels like lifelong grief. This could be childhood trauma, to be honest. This is something that has been in you for some time. This is not, again, this isn't just, we broke up. I think it's like the third or fourth time I've said that, but I really want to drive that home. That this is not this level, this kind of grief, the depth of the grief, or I should say the breadth of the grief, right? Thinking horizontally, it's not just a relationship and we were deep. It's covered a lot of ground. You know, this is I don't know if you can, I've always seen this as a body of water, but now I'm seeing it as a prairie, but it's vast, right? There's a lot of ground. And there are a lot of birds covering all this ground. And then there's this little ephemeral bird over here, which I don't know. I could see someone saying that's the Holy Spirit. I can see someone saying that is they're puncturing the veil. But whatever that bird is, that's not really significant for me here in your reading. Rather, what is that this is big stuff that's been around for a while. Okay, so this could also, I'm getting that if you're not, this is an opportunity to grieve this stuff. So if you have found that you're kind of like pushing away stuff, you start feeling a feeling, or you start having a memory, and then you go and you reach for that donut, or you call the friend to just kind of distract yourself. If you're reaching for a distraction, I'm getting the suggestion that you should try withholding the urge. So instead of reaching for the donut, just take one beat. You still have the donut. I mean, I'm a lover of donuts, so that's probably why I'm using that as an example. If you don't like donuts, fill it in for whatever your particular food indulgence is. But take a beat, take a moment, and just, it really did hurt me when my sister said that thing to me when I was 8. Whatever. I'm just throwing that out there. But the reason I think I'm spending so much time on these 2 cards is because this is a major arcana card. So you have a big karmic lesson, a big life transformation that can result from this. You're already in it. So even if you're, eating the donut, going to the next Netflix show, calling the friend to distract yourself to talk about whatever nonsense. I know I talk to my friends often about some nonsensical stuff, whatever that is. This is a good place to be. You're cleaning out a lot of wounds, and you're opening up the sky here. See, there's cloud cover, but you can absolutely, it's not all one big thunderstorm. Okay, moving on. And this is just the direction you need to go, and or rather the immediate action to take. And I think this is fantastic, because this is just saying you don't need to do anything. You don't need to, this is often the decision-making card. You have to make a decision. That's not the case here. She's not having to make a decision. This is the process of weighing options, of considering what is. This is not the card of go, do it now. No, absolutely not. And in fact, speaking, I guess, as a human, from human experience, but also what I'm getting is that I'm hearing the words more often than not, we shouldn't act. Now, I don't know why I'm hearing that, because, yeah, I'm just hearing it. I don't know. I can't tell you why. It says more often than not, we shouldn't act. So, and Taurus, again, I don't like to make generalizations about signs. And by the way, I'm a Taurus rising, so mad respect for Tauri. That's the plural of Taurus. But Taurus typically, it's a fixed earth sign. It's like about as fixed as you can get. Obviously, you have more stuff in your chart. You could have all fire in your chart. That's going to make you a very different Taurus than if you have a good bit of earth in your chart. But nonetheless, this is a Pentacle sign. And this is, you've been handed the Ace of Pentacles, which is an opportunity. Now you sit with the options, and you let yourself have this very important natural process that you don't have to do anything. It's happening, right? This is a process that's happening within you, and you are considering, I like to think of these as sun and moon. At least that's how it's coming through right now. You could also think of it as this ephemeral choice that isn't yet grounded and created. And then this purse, which is obviously excuse me, an actual object. So really great energy here for the relate. It sounds like what I'm getting here is that you're moving through some stuff. So, you know, this could be, for some of you, this could be, that was my hand. Hello, hand. This could be as intense as like, oh my gosh, I want this to be over with. Or, wow, I'm having some serious epiphanies. That's not quite the word. Progress. You're progressing emotionally, and it's an opportunity that came to you that may not be, it doesn't feel good, but you're coming out of that. So, hello. And this is real life, guys. This is what happens. It's one of the decks that I love to use. So finally to life path. Again, it's interesting how I'm looking at different facets of your life, but it's really all cohesive. So you're walking away from something. You know, I see an incredible connection here. You are, it seems to me, you're walking toward the sun. You're walking away from this. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And you can honor, you know, sometimes we don't want to walk away from our pain. I'm hearing this, you know, oh, I don't want to leave the child that I was. By the way, it doesn't matter female or male. We don't know the gender of this human. This is a non-gendered human in my estimation. Sometimes we're just like, well, who would I be without this? This is all I know. And this card is here to tell you that these birds don't belong here. Okay, they're gone. They're burned in the fire. They have been transmuted. So in terms of life path, you have big things going on here. Big releases happening on all fronts. And it's time to walk toward the light. I know it's uncomfortable. I think for some of you, you might be like, oh my God, yes, thank you. God, I'm so ready. Others of you, if we're really honest, and you know, we can be honest here because no one has to hear what you think or feel when you're watching this by yourself, if you are. You're not entirely comfortable. You're kind of like, I don't know who I am without that stuff. And I'm hearing, and that's okay. That is perfectly fine. You don't need to know anything. Just keep walking. Okay. Well, this is always a lovely card to get, a lover's card. And even though it is very obvious that these two are sharing a passionate moment, this is all you. And this is the direction in which you might want to consider moving. This is merely, like all relationships, they are a reflection. They are a reflection of who we are, us individuals. So even though you have, this is your partner, clearly a beloved, I mean, the way you're looking at your beloved here and vice versa, I mean, it's this gorgeous, romantic, lovely picture. And hey, if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I have met my soulmate, good for you. Excellent. Awesome. Then this definitely should resonate with you. If you haven't met anyone, but you're feeling like you are meeting yourself for the first time, this is also you. Because again, I think I just said this, but I'm going to say it again. Any relationship is merely a reflection of a relationship we have with ourselves. Lovers is an opportunity to meet yourself, greet yourself. Of course, love yourself, but love in the most profoundly spiritual and evolved way. Not loving like, I'm going to buy you chocolates, I'm going to take you out on a date, although those are good things to do, by the way. As an aside, please take yourself on a date, especially as a Taurus. You know, Taurians love beauty, aesthetics, and also aesthetics, but in a very, you know, the physical realm, right? We want lovely, soft, beautiful clothing, or we want yummy food. But this is you meeting yourself. It makes so much sense that this is the direction in which you're moving. This is the life path we're talking about here. And finally, I mean, I'll be the first to say, who doesn't love a Six of Wands, right? But this is the action to take right now. In fact, just take a bow. Again, I don't care where you are. assuming you're safe, it's safe to take a bow, even if you're in public. You know, most people are just doing their own thing anyway, not noticing others. But rejoice. This is the immediate action to take with regard to your life path. Rejoice. I mean, give credit where credit's due. You have moved through a lot of crap. I don't know what it is. And again, if this is resonating with you, you know what I'm talking about. If you're like, I don't get it. Well, this reading isn't for you, then look at your other placements, right? But this is a time to celebrate yourself. You may not feel like it is, but I'm here to tell you that this all tells me it is time to celebrate. You have been putting in the work. You have been moving through some really, really hard things, and celebrate. With that celebration, why? The mere fact that you were born was an event to celebrate. So your existence is a celebration. We'll start with that. Let's get right down to it. So therefore, celebrate the progress you've made that you may not even notice. But take a moment to again, if this resonates with you, be like, wow, I am not who I was a few months ago, a couple years ago. So take that bow, take that applause, take the adulation, take the positive reinforcement wherever you're getting it. You absolutely deserve it. You are absolutely worthy. Okay, Taurus, I hope this reading provided some healing or clarity for you today. I will see you again in the month of November. Take care.